It's Frank.
And Anthony.
We're back again, part 2. Welcome back to Tuesday videos. Anthony, who are we going to visit with again today?
We are talking to Gail again today. Miss Gail.
Miss Gail, the historian about rodeo, spent a bunch of time with us. We have a second part of that interview today. She was great, and we really appreciate all the time that she spent with us.
So, go into that interview, but if you haven't watched part 1, go back and watch part 1. You kind of need it.
Kind of need part 1. All right.
So,
perfect.
Just go back and watch part 1. See you soon. Before we get into the rest of this video, we just want to shout out Liam McIntosh's YouTube channel. Liam McIntosh.
He's doing a great job. He's a friend of
our site. He just started.
So
he's only got 8 subscribers, so if you could show him some love,
that would be great.
Subscribe to him. Check it out. If you don't like it, just don't subscribe. But if you really like it, just subscribe.
Like that it's another kid doing positive things, so that's a good thing. That's pretty awesome.
And then, so, one of my friends had a question for you, and his question was, what made you want to start writing about rodeo in specific? Like, your first book was about your town, but, like, what made you want to start writing about rodeo?
I had so much fun gathering the information and talking with the rodeo people. And I guess, Anthony, that's a good question because, but it has to do with my history. I grew up on a ranch. There were 6 of us for 8 grades from 1st grade through 8th grade, and then I went to a consolidated school, and there were only 13 in my graduating class from high school. And then I went to college, and so I met the world a little bit at a time. How do you eat an elephant? A bite at a time. It took, and I got to, I've had lots of opportunities, but when I married, and I was away from all the Western things in my life, and I lived in Houston, I lived in Austin, but my present husband and I bought a ranch here. My family still lived on a ranch back there, and when I wrote about the Willard, it was talking to the people I interviewed, and it wasn't just clowns, it was announcers, and it was world champions, and it was, little guys that never really did too much in it. I talked to everybody, and by talking to a variety of people, I had so much fun, and it was well received by the rodeo world, and there weren't other books like mine. Nobody did. There's not a lot of money in writing a book like I write. It's for the real rodeo aficionado, the person who loves rodeo and loves history.
We appreciate that you do it.
Well, and I love to do it. And I have the means to be able to travel and do what I do. And now I don't travel as much because I've gotten to be such good friends with so many people. I can call most of them on the phone.
Well, we hope you travel a little and we could run into you somewhere.
Well, you will at National Finals. You will.
I told Anthony 18. When he turns 18, we could go to National Finals.
And how old are you now?
12. I'm going to be 13 in November.
Okay.
I told him, I said, I don't know if we need to go to Vegas yet at 12 and 13.
I think you do.
You do? All right.
Oh, of course, of course. Well, I know that this has opened a lot of doors for me, and I told you earlier that I am the oral history chairman for the Rodeo Historical Society that's located in Oklahoma City at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum. But I also am the hostess at the Gold Card Room.
Oh.
And the Gold Card Room is in Thomas and Mack, and it's a gathering of people in a room where they provide them a meal. The Gold Card, you have to have rodeoed in professional rodeo, PRCA, at least 20 years, I think, and be over 40. You have to have your Gold Card. But I'm the hostess there, and I have been doing that for, 19 years. and I welcome everybody. And we have a little dog and pony show on the stage, and we give away some gifts and
Awesome.
visit with people, interview them, and then when just before the rodeo, everybody gets up and leaves.
I bet.
And so it's just they go up to their seats upstairs and watch the rodeo. This is held for an hour and a half before the rodeo.
That's
And
awesome.
and these gold card people get their meal. They can bring one guest, and so I've been doing this, and we're having more fun. I have questions on the table that they can answer and give their slips back to us, and we draw for the winning. Who gets the right answer, and it has to do usually with the rodeos 50 years ago or whatever I decide I want to do for that year, because I don't want to do it the same thing every year. So,
Sure.
but it's a lot of fun, and I don't know if you know this or not, but I put on rodeo clown reunions.
We saw
And-
that in the
Yeah,
book.
we
It
saw
talks
that.
about that. Yeah. And on your website, I think it mentions that.
Yeah, well, that I know that in your writing, you had asked me what my favorite experience happened from writing this book, Fearless Funny Men, and that is it. And I also write a newsletter to old rodeo clowns, and some of them that are still out there are on my. I have about 250 people that I write to monthly, and it's mainly about rodeo clowns, bullfighters, and those people that they would be interested in, because a lot of them now are infirmed. They can't go anywhere, and so I either send it through the U.S. mail or I do it email, and it's just a great way for them to keep up with what's going on in the rodeo world. And so I do that and put on rodeo clown reunions at professional rodeos. And we were in 2021, we were at the Cowboy Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame in Colorado Springs. And then we went to the rodeo at Castle Rock, which was Douglas County Fair and Rodeo. And I have about 45 old retired clowns that come, and they'll still perform. They wear their outfits. They sign autographs. They have more fun and interact with the audience, and it's a great way for an annual rodeo that needs to fill more seats and have more attention. And I try to keep it it started in Oregon at the reunion, and in 1993, 1991, they gave it up and asked if I would help. And when I had it in 1993 at Guthrie, Oklahoma, I realized that I was doing it. So I just took it from there, and we have a lot of fun.
Well, there you go. Well, we appreciate your time. It was so great to visit with you. And if any of Anthony's friends or people who check out our YouTube are interested in finding your book, Fearless Funny Men, or the Cowboy Turtle Association, or any of your other books, what's the best way for people to find you?
Amazon, or you can go to my website and order directly from my publisher. My website is Gail Woerner. And of course, my name's spelled funny. Gail is my first name.
Yep.
Woerner is Woerner.
It's a name you see a little bit when you're up in... You see that name a little bit once in a while in Wyoming.
Well, I've done it long enough that now they're calling me a rodeo historian.
It's a great title, though, for you.
Well, I love it, and you know what? It sustains me. I have more fun in my life. I just I haven't left rodeo because I don't want to. I'll continue to write books on rodeo, and I write a lot of articles. I write articles for Rodeo News. I write articles for the Catch Pen, which is the rodeo historical magazine. I do occasionally throw something into the sports news that is put out by PRCA. So,
Well, we appreciate you. And
thank you so much. You keep rodeo going back there, and next time I'm in New York, I'm going to look you up.
Well, thank you so much, and have a great weekend, and hopefully we'll talk to you sometime again.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank
Bye
you.
now.
All right. Well, Anthony, I want to thank you again to get us to visit with Miss Gail Woerner.
Yeah.
I'm glad we read the books together.
Yeah.
And
And then,
yes.
so one of those last few questions
Oh, yeah.
was submitted by one of my friends.
What's your friend's name so we can thank him?
His name is Caden, and so he asked the question of how did she start getting into writing on rodeos?
Yeah.
She mentioned her first book was about Willard, Colorado.
Yep.
Her town, so.
Yeah. So it's cool. Thank you, Caden.
Yes, thank you. And we'll see you next week.
Remember to like the video and subscribe if you so care to do that. Thanks a lot. Talk to you next Tuesday.